I'm Alex Traiman, and you're watching Jerusalem Minute, where we take you through the most important stories facing Jerusalem, Israel, and the Jewish people. With many putting pressure on the war cabinet and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government to come up with their strategy for the day after war against Hamas, Prime Minister Netanyahu authored an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal laying out what he calls his 3 prerequisites for peace. In the op-ed, he writes that, number 1, Hamas must be destroyed, Gaza must be demilitarized, and Palestinian society must be deradicalized. These are the 3 prerequisites for peace between Israel and its Palestinian neighbors in the Gaza Strip. He goes on to say that the expectation that the Palestinian Authority will demilitarize Gaza is a pipe dream. It currently funds and glorifies terrorism in Judea and Samaria and educates Palestinian children to seek the destruction of Israel. Not surprisingly, it has shown neither the capability nor the will to demilitarize Gaza. It failed to do so before Hamas booted it out of the territory in 2007, and it has failed to do so in the territories under its control today. For the foreseeable future, Israel will have to retain overriding security responsibility over Gaza. So Netanyahu is making it clear that the IDF is not going to leave the Strip and create a vacuum that can be filled by terrorists even after the intensive rounds of fighting are completed. Netanyahu also goes on to note that the idea of the Palestinian Authority coming back in to Gaza, where they were expelled in 2007, is simply not going to happen. He makes reference to the Palestinian Authority's pay-for-slay policies, which fund and incite terrorism in Judea and Samaria, which is commonly known as the West Bank, and makes it clear that there needs to be another solution. Now, what that solution is, he's not specifically noted, although he has said that the Israeli military is not going to be leaving the area. With regard to de-radicalization, Netanyahu writes that successful de-radicalization took place in Germany and Japan after the Allied victory in World War II. Today, both nations are great allies of the United States and promote peace, stability, and prosperity in Europe and Asia. More recently, since the 9/11 attacks, visionary Arab leaders in the Gulf have led efforts to de-radicalize their societies and transform their countries. Israel has since forged the historic Abraham Accords and today enjoys peace agreements with 6 Arab states. Such a cultural transformation will be possible in Gaza only among Palestinians who don't seek the destruction of Israel. He adds that once Hamas is destroyed, Gaza is demilitarized, and Palestinian society begins a de-radicalization process, Gaza can be rebuilt and the prospects of a broader peace in the Middle East will become a reality. Now, it's not really clear how this process of de-radicalization would take place. And understanding that the society has been radicalized since the signing of the Oslo Accords, in which the Palestinian Authority controlled the television stations and controlled the education system, in Judea and Samaria, as well as in Gaza, you have an entire generation, if not multiple generations, of Palestinians that have been radicalized to hate the state of Israel and have been radicalized to believe that this culture of martyrdom is the only solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. How do you de-radicalize a society that's been taught to hate? It could potentially take decades to de-radicalize the society. Reading between the lines in the Netanyahu editorial, you can see that Netanyahu is essentially calling the Oslo Accords, which was the land for peace formula that Israel entered into the Palestinians in the early 90s, an utter failure that has not led to peace, as well as the failure of the disengagement in 2005, in which Israel forcibly expelled 8,500 residents from 21 thriving Jewish communities inside the Gaza Strip. Both of those part of this land for peace formula that has proven itself on October 7th to be an utter failure. Israel now saying that the only way to do this is to de-radicalize the society. It will take a lot of time, and it's a question as to how much credit Israel will have with the international community to maintain a presence in Gaza, and whether other moderate forces in the Middle East, including the Saudis, the Emiratis, and others, could be part of a solution to administer the Gaza Strip and to take steps to de-radicalize the society, which would ultimately lead towards a bolder and a brighter Middle East in which the Israeli-Palestinian conflict will finally be put to rest.